Hello there. How's everyone doing? It's been quite a while since I've released anything new, and quite a few things have happened since then that I wanted to share with you. First of all, a lot of questions and comments came in from season one. Finally, I know I was asking for feedback, and I got some. And I'm going to be sharing some of those with you in just a moment. The second is that we reached the 1,000 download mark, so that's awesome. That was a few months ago. We're actually a little bit beyond that now. I think we're like 1,400, somewhere like that. So that's awesome. I was continually amazed at the amount of downloads that we're still continuing, even though I haven't released anything since February. Hopefully that means that people are still discovering the podcast and still telling their friends and sharing it, and it's spreading around, hopefully. This also means, again, hopefully, that there will be many people awaiting a season 2, and we'll get a good audience at the start of that. So season 2 is on the way. I've already got quite a few recorded. I got some awesome guests I've been talking to, really, really cool people. But for now, I'm just going to share some of the questions and comments with you. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of these, but just some. What is your favorite episode so far? Well, that's a very difficult question to answer, so I'm just not going to answer it. I have different parts of each one that I really like, and I knew as soon as we discussed it during the recording. I thought, wow, somebody will say something profound or funny or whatever, and it just I have moments in every episode that I really, really like. So I don't have an actual favorite there. It's always fun because it's going all over the place, different places. Same topics sometimes, but depending on my guest, because my guest brings something new to the table because they're a different, unique person with their own thoughts and opinions on things. I will say I really enjoyed the last kind of the bonus episode I did at the end of season 1 with the round table with the 4 of us. That was a lot of fun. I got a lot of good feedback on that. A lot of people really enjoyed that episode. That was fun just to have 4 different people, kind of a different dynamic. Next, okay. Are you just doing this because you like to argue with people? Yes, obviously. Why hasn't your wife been a guest on the show? That's a great question. Unfortunately, I don't think that's something that she's ever going to be interested in doing. Why do you get a gargantuan glass of chai while your guest only gets a small one? All right, who sent that one? Anonymous. Obviously, one of my previous guests is being funny. And I'm not even going to answer the question until this person comes clean and reveals himself and tells me who they are. Okay, fine, I'll answer it. The reason why is because I'm addicted to chai, and just seeing the little bit that I'm giving them while they're drinking it the whole time, I'm thinking to myself that should have been for me. That was my chai that I poured into a smaller glass than mine. And it's not it's not gargantuan. I don't have a gargantuan cup of chai. It's bigger. It's bigger than the smaller one. But again, it's hard enough to watch them drink that amount. So anyway, so obviously I have a problem, and thank you for outing me as a selfish jerk. Okay, let's see. Why do the podcasts need to be 3 hours? Well, they don't need to be 3 hours. That's just how it seems to go. I just set aside an hour for each topic, basically, or each, what do you call that, section that we discuss, and then see where it goes. And almost every time we get to the end, and there just wasn't enough time. And both me and my guests are like, oh, it's over already? The time really flies by. Let's see. Why are you racist? Well, obviously because bears fart out Transformers when they're gagging through the carport. Okay. Okay, let's see. In the intro to episode 11, why did you pronounce Tony's last name wrong? Okay, look. Okay, that's how he told me to say it. Okay, I asked him. I always ask my guests, how do you say your name? Because I don't want to screw it up. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm really good at saying words wrong. He said it was Quintanar. I asked him, Quintanar. He did say that Quintanar was the Spanish pronunciation of it, but he told me to say Quintanar. Okay. I don't I don't have a Spanish accent because I don't speak Spanish. Something that's always bothered me is people that only have accents on certain words. That makes no sense. You either have an accent or you don't. Okay, it doesn't make sense. But I'm sure we'll talk about that at another time too, because it really bothers me. Why haven't you invited your wife to be on the podcast? Okay, seriously. So nobody would like her on the podcast more than me. I can't force her to do anything. I have asked. I promise you, I have asked multiple times, and she just doesn't want to do it. And I need to respect that. Okay. Why don't you let your guests talk more during the episode? Okay. Well, I do think I let my guests talk. Keep in mind, this podcast is not an interview. It's a conversation. It's a discussion. It's two people back and forth. I feel like I give them time to talk. They've never told me otherwise. Is there a specific episode you're referring to? All right. Let's see. Let me know on that one. Let me know. That's me asking you a question. Why do you always say that you love doing the intros to each episode, that you are so good at them? Okay, so there's a couple more questions like that too. So many people aren't seeming to get the irony of me saying, irony, is that even the right? I don't even know if that's the right word. It's a joke. Okay, it's a joke. Me saying that I'm so good at these intros, that I love doing these intros. I hate doing the intros because I'm sitting here, kind of like I am right now, sitting here by myself with a microphone in front of me, talking really to nobody, seemingly nobody. I know people are listening to this, so I'm kind of talking to you. But like right now, as I'm sitting here in my living room, there's nobody that I'm talking to, so I feel like an idiot. So that's me being funny about it, I guess. So I don't really think I'm good at the intros. I think I'm horrible at the intros, and I also don't love it. I kind of hate it. Here's an example of what I'm talking about.
I'm back with another podcast, which means another one of these intros. People keep asking why I sound so excited and dynamic when doing these intros. They wonder why I sound like I'm doing the one thing in the world that brings me true joy and happiness. The answer, of course, is that I am. I absolutely love doing these intros. I love trying not to feel like an idiot while talking to nobody at all and recording my voice into a computer. I love attempting to walk the delicate line between sounding phony and sounding boring. I can think of nothing else I would rather be doing. I find all of my life's fulfillment in recording these intro segments. This is why I sound as if these things are true. It's because they are. The words I am saying right now line up fully with the emotion, happiness, and general sense of comfort that you hear in my voice during these intros.
Okay, why don't you talk more during the episodes? Well, again, the opposite of the last one. It's a discussion. Okay, so it's a discussion where I hope, again, this is the same question. So I hope that both me and my guest are speaking equally. You know, I hope we're able to share our entire thoughts about an issue without getting cut off. I never want to cut people off. I know I do it sometimes. But anyway, so the hope is that we're both speaking all the same. When is your wife going to be a guest on the show? Okay, so let me answer this one more time. Never. Okay? Probably never. Probably not even probably. Just never. Why don't you ever have anyone on the show who is Why don't you have anyone on your show who is qualified to truly speak on these topics? I think maybe you mean qualified. I'm assuming qualified. I'm gonna go with that and assume that's what you meant. Well, I think that everyone is qualified to speak about whatever they want. But if you mean someone who has a degree or something, or has gone to school on a certain topic that we're addressing, then I would say I welcome anyone to come on the show that has those things. Just so far, I haven't had anybody, at least that I know of. I guess that's a question I've never asked my guests, if they have a PhD or not. Although I was asked that one time. And I don't, by the way, if that wasn't obvious. So I mean, I would have anybody, except for maybe whoever asked this question, because you misspelled the word qualified as qualified, and I'm not sure that you are even qualified to ask this question. Why doesn't the podcast sound professional? Wow. Ouch. Well, pretty simple answer here, because I'm not a professional. I've said this over and over again. I am not techie. I don't know what I'm doing. It's not like I have this big budget either as far as the show. So my son, as many of you know, is doing all that stuff for me, and he's awesome. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. But hey, if you want to send me money so I can do better, get better equipment, then hey, I won't turn it down. Why do you hate the trans community? Okay, so similar to the why are you racist? Okay, why do you hate the trans community? Okay, so again, this is only because horns make louder gardens when ghosts are liquid. Why don't you have people who disagree with you on your podcast? Okay, so I'm guessing that you probably haven't listened to that many episodes, because there's disagreements on just about everyone. I don't seek out that. I mean, it's just, we're talking about topics, some of them that are heavy-hitting topics that people are passionate about. So, I mean, we've had some pretty strong disagreements. I mean, if you're looking for fighting and arguing and like yelling at each other, no, there's never been any of that. But that's kind of the point. I want to have people that I can have civil discussions with, even if we, 100% disagree with each other. Do you think you are some kind of expert or something? Well, yeah, I'm definitely an or something. Is your wife ever going to be a guest on the podcast? Next. Okay, the transgender discussion has come up often. Why don't you have an actual transgender person on the podcast? It seems pretty pointless for two people who are not trans to be having a discussion about trans rights. Okay. First of all, I don't hold to the view that you have to be of a certain group in order to have opinion about that group's beliefs. For example, as a Christian, I don't think that someone has to be a Christian in order to have a viewpoint on Christianity. To me, that's dumb. I think we can all have an opinion on something. We can all even be educated about something without being a part of that group. Secondly, I'd love to have a transgender person on the show. I mean, if you know anybody who'd be interested, again, not somebody that's gonna just want to be mean to me and yell at me. I mean, but somebody that's willing to talk about these topics and have a good civil discussion about it. That'd be awesome. So if you know anyone's interested, let me know. But I just haven't had anybody that has asked. So I guess the reason why I haven't had a transgender person on the show yet, to answer your question, is the exact same reason why I have not yet had any Ewoks on the show. And that's because none of them have asked me. Okay. When will your wife be on? Okay. This is a great question, and obviously one that many people are asking. However, unfortunately, the answer is most likely never. I have asked her before, as I've already said. She really just does not have an interest. It's just not her thing. I suppose she's being married to me. She's forced to talk to me enough as it is. So maybe that's why. I don't know. But yeah, she has no interest. But hey, if you want to bug her, if you want to call her and tell her that she needs to be on the show, her number is 916-345. Misty, shh. Okay. And lastly, there were many questions about specific guests that I had, and about specific conversations that we had, and things that were said about, well, how come you didn't say this when they said this, or how come you didn't answer the question this way, how come you didn't respond this way. The reason is because I don't think of all that stuff. I think about it later when I'm sitting there, even sometimes when I'm going through and editing the episodes. I think, man, I should have said that, or I wish I would have pursued that topic farther. But it's just too hard to do. I'm in the middle of a conversation. We all do this, and so anyway, I've gotten lots of questions from people saying, why didn't you do or say this, or they say, I was thinking I would have said it this way, or I would have responded this way. This would have been a better argument, or things like that. So if some of you don't know, I started a Facebook group for this exact purpose. That's kind of been collecting dust and cobwebs over the last couple months. And the whole point of that is, each episode has its own little section in the Facebook group. So, I mean, the idea is that when you think of those things and you say, oh, I wish I would have asked that, or I want to know this person's opinion on this, I wish they would have went down this road, then all you do is you go on there and you type that under the episode, and then if it's a question for me, then I'll respond to it. If it's a question for one of the guests, then they'll respond to it. And it kind of keep the conversation going. So, I mean, that's the whole point of that, because we all do that, right? We're all think things in hindsight we would have said or did things differently. So use that. Please use it. Sign up. Send me not a friend request. What's it called? I guess just a request to join the group, and I will admit you. Maybe. So that's it. That's all the ones I'm going to read. Like I said, season 2 is on the way. I'm currently recording it. The hope is to have the first episode out by the beginning of July. So I appreciate all you listening through my rambling and reading off some of your questions. Hopefully some of you aren't too upset that I didn't answer all of them. I didn't answer the ones where you just called me names because see, that's not a question. That hey Ryan, you're dumb is not a question. Neither is Ryan, you're transphobic. That's not a question. So you need to at least be like the person who asked, why do you hate trans people, right? Still kind of a dumb question because it's assuming that I do when I don't. But I mean, at least it's a question. At least it's a question that I can answer. Just saying, Ryan, you're transphobic. What am I supposed to do with that? So again, yeah. So that was yeah. So we'll see. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. All right. Thanks.